It's a little after 5, and we're going to begin the October 27th, 2011 workshop. We are viewing live tonight. We're going to begin tonight's meeting. We do have a couple of brief presentations, and we're going to begin tonight with FYI code. It'll be a brief 5 to 10 minute presentation, and then we do have another presentation from Business Elite. So, gentlemen, the podium is yours.
You all have a little thing in front of you here, and I'm going to kind of show you a little bit about what's going on here. On September 18th, a fellow by the name of Jimmy Leeward was flying a plane at the Reno Air Show, and he crashed. And it happened at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and about 10:30 our time that night, the news was on, and the police chief of Reno was on TV saying, I still don't have any way for people to call in and get information or to give you all information about what's going on. We realized that what we do, which is FYI code, we dispense information. We are very good about getting information out to a broad group of people from a central source right away. This is the show. This is the if you want to scroll along that, you can kind of scroll down. This is what we did for the folks at the air show there. They did not wind up using it because of the chaos of an emergency situation, as I'm sure you all are better aware of than I am. But what it did do is it kicked us off into a whole different direction of what we're doing. All of those links are live links. They would have taken you like to the Red Cross there in Reno, to the news channel right there in Reno, and then some other material that we had there. We came back to Nashville. Go to the next one, then and we started talking to some of the local folks with the emergency group over in Williamson County, and we talked to FEMA and TEMA. And then we wound up meeting a lady from the Department of Homeland Security, and she made the comment, she said what we really needed was something for Amber Alerts and so forth. So we did one that parallels the Amber Alert that we're all hearing about, which is the little girl that came up missing in Kansas City. And you kind of scroll down just a little bit. But what we can do is to give you an Amber Alert where you can instantly have that kind of material. You can have pictures of the child, you can have a map of where the incident occurred. I was kidding my wife. I said, do you know what a blue Honda Accord looks like? And she looked at me like, why would I? Well, we could post a picture of a car so that you know what you're looking for. Anyway, that format of the Amber Alert is in your handout here. And what we've done is we've shown you the current method of looking at an Amber Alert and what it would look like if you're using an FYI code. So when you send out a text link to people, which is what I guess the new system is going to be doing the new federal system is going to be doing in 2012, you can send out that text link. It says call code, and you get that FYI code, and then that's going to take you to whatever the website is that you guys want to put up, and you can use that for dispensing information, whether it's an Amber Alert or a school alert. Let's go to the next one. This would be what it would look like for like just a general emergency type of a format. This is just a generic one here, but you have contact information. You have a forwarding phone number there. You have the different portals that you might have as a part of the whole system here, like the Amber Alert portal you'll see there, the local Red Cross. In this case, I just use Baptist Hospital and Vanderbilt Hospital. When somebody calls in, scroll just a little further, that's what they're going to listen to, that description right there. And you can change that instantly. You sit here in your command post and just change that information that's going out. So you can tell people, don't go down that road because the bridge is out. And you can plan on updating that information every 10 or 15 or minutes, whatever you want to. So you're going to give people real-time information. The little section there is just a read-only section. Kind of gives people an idea of about what the system is and anything else that you'd want to put in there. You can scroll down a little bit further. Some of these links are live links where you can click on them and they'll take you to things like the weather one will take you to the Weather Channel, I think, and I'm not sure where that one takes you, probably to the website for the Highway Patrol. But you can make those links built into this little site right here. What happens is that how during an emergency the audio portion of the bandwidth gets overwhelmed. And what you want to do is get people off of that. You don't want them calling in to talk to you, but you want to reassure them that if they need to, they can. And that's good for we call it one of our consultants calls it the daddy factor. It just makes people feel good knowing that they can actually talk to somebody who cares and that there's somebody who is in control. What's the next one? One of the situations we bumped into is the fact that people are saying, wouldn't it be nice to have one for the schools? All right, well, the school portal is an interesting concept because it not only can give you information about, hey, what's going on in school? Hey, we're having a pep rally tonight, come see us at the football game, do all that kind of stuff. But what you're also doing is you're training people that there's a central source to get information. So when something does happen, they're already, oh, what do I do? Well, you're going to go to the 911 portal for the city, or there's also one at a national level, and they'll be familiar with what to expect and how it works. And we'll go to the last one here. This is the one that we've had a lot of interest in from different groups in terms of doing this kind of a system. It has a lot of technical aspects to it that we're trying to make sure that we do right. This would be the series that we would present to you. You would have, in this case, it's an information number. The 311 is an information number. You'll see the whole list in here is the sequence of numbers. The 2s are the schools and the 3s are general information. You'll have one for things like the water department. You'll have one for the police department, one for the sheriff department. And so these folks can have a natural flow of information with the public. And you get people accustomed to, they see that little number on the side of a vehicle or wherever, about any place. And they can either get information online or they can call and listen to what's going on. You know, why is the road torn up for this long? Well, you call and you listen, they go, well, the road over here is torn up, and you change it for whatever the next thing that comes along. Now this is for the parade of lights. And what we can do is scroll down just a little bit. If you were to call in right now to our phone number and key in that number, which was 311001, you're going to listen to this information that you see here. It's going to say to you, have you heard about our parade of lights? And then it's going to read through that. And I think if you click the listen now, you might actually be able to hear it. You should be able to. If you scroll down a little bit further, all right, you have a link to your Facebook page for here in Laverne. Keep on going down. And you actually have a lovely mayor picture there too. That's where your Welcome to Laverne site is, the main website. Since it's a Christmas parade, we thought we'd better throw the Santa tracker up there. And then just a little bit further, this is a great way for putting up different information on video. If you run it through YouTube, stuff like that, we are all about being a mobile website. Nobody needs an app. And the other part of that is, even if you just have an old clunky cell phone, you can listen to that information. You can call the number and you can listen. So you got a lot of seniors out there that have got just an ordinary old cell phone. I know everybody gets all excited about the high tech, this and that and the other. Our high tech is in the back, which makes it easy for everybody else. Anyway, and I'll let Randall tell you a few more things here because we got some other fun stuff that he can allude to.
I was here, about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I got to talk to the mayor, and I got to talk to the aldermen and the fire chief and everyone. And basically, it was to get some input on what they thought we needed to be able to do with FYI code. We've had so much interest from so many of the emergency services groups, and one of the things, I'll finish off with this too, is that as you can see, it's very versatile and we can get a lot of information out very quickly. Even on the push systems that we talked about, how we can actually link an FYI code to a push system and get out a lot more information than what you normally can do with just the push system. And that's what even with schools, I know schools maybe send out information like that as well, like they do in Williamson County. But one of the things that we're getting ready to do, and I guess you noticed on there that the numbers that we had kind of preset for you guys have 001. It means you guys are the first one. And we talked about letting everybody know you guys were the first one to use this. But we're actually headed up to Pennsylvania in the next couple of weeks because Pennsylvania, they want to use the system. They want to put a pilot program in for the Guard, for all the emergency services under the Homeland Security umbrella because they are also responsible for Washington, D.C. So we've taken a big leap already from Laverne all the way to there, but we think that we're going to learn a lot more even there. But you guys are going to obviously have already taught us a lot on what we needed to be able to put in place, and we appreciate that. So, any questions?
Chris, Sherry, you have any questions from any of these? Mr. Mayor, you have any?
This would be an opt-in system for the citizens?
Sorry?
Would be opt-in for the citizens?
It's free for the citizens to call in.
Yeah, they can use it. Call to them is free, and then all costs you about a week.
Okay.
And it's a pass-through from us, and it's the cost of the phone company.
As our volume goes up, the price of the phone comes down.
All right.
Pass that through.
Thank y'all very much for your time. Appreciate it. All right, we have one more presentation, and this is from Marian Akatete, and she is with Business Elite.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Marian Okai Tete, and I'm originally from Ghana in West Africa, and I've been here for a long time. Well, I'm here to it looks to me like they had the same idea I have. I came by to talk to Mayor Mosley about 2 weeks ago, something like that, because I saw this news item that Laverne was looking for a way to notify the citizenry about, weather changes and things of that nature. And I said, wow, we can do this, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. So I came by to talk with her and to show her in about 5 minutes what we could do. So I just wanted to demonstrate it to you. If you would all please pick up your cell phones.
We don't have,
Yeah.
I don't have mine in here.
Okay, for those of us who have our cell
Mine
phones,
is in
all right.
here.
Please text this message, Laverne City to this number, 55469. Laverne City, no space, just like one word, Laverne City. Laverne City. The number is 55469.
Mine should have hers. That's what she
got it?
said, but I'm not fooling with it.
Okay.
What does it say?
I think this is the,
Yeah, 554. No, just like it's a one word. Laverne City, no space.
It says weather alert, tornado in effect, that's what came back.
Who has this? Okay, read it out, okay.
okay.
I got weather alert, tornado warnings in effect from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. Stay tuned for further updates.
That's it. So whatever it is that is going on, all you need is for everyone to opt into that number. And that means that you have everybody's number. And if there's any weather announcement, any alert, any warning, any watch you want to let people know about, you just put it in, and then everybody gets it just like that. It takes just a minute. Once somebody has opted in, that means that you have everybody's information, everybody's cell phone. And it looks to me like almost 98% of us have a cell phone at least 3 feet away from us. And so whether you're sleeping or whatever we're doing, the cell phone is right there. You don't need your computer, you don't need anything. Once you have your cell phone, you get a text message, you read it. And people will be more prone to read their text messages than they'll go on their laptop and then open their emails and try to read. So this is a really easy, fast, efficient, and up to the point way of getting people to know what is going on, wherever they might be, so that if there's any change in weather, and it's also an efficient way to, especially with the schools, like I discussed with the mayor, that a lot of schools around LA, they are using this system because there are changes. My daughter's school, Harpeth Hall, they use this because football, basketball, there's always a change. And normally they email us, and I don't get my email until maybe 3 days later because I don't have time. So the whole point is that they're using this system so that if there's any change, I'm on the road to basketball, there's a change, I get it. Oh, okay, good. So I don't have to drive all the way to the location to find out that, well, nothing was happening, and then come all the way back, all of that. So it saves you time, it saves you money, and then also it's an effective way of getting to almost everybody. I would say 98% of the people who have cell phones will get it. So basically, that's my presentation, and I left this with you, okay? And so if you have any information, any kind of questions or anything like that, I'm here for maybe 2 minutes, and then I would take those questions. Basically, that's it.
Now, is that very similar to the you have to call that number, or once you call in one time, then we send the text out to the numbers? Is that how that works?
You opt in one time.
Right.
Like, you just text in, that's it. So everybody, all you do is on your website, you can inform everybody, hey, listen, this is a new thing we are trying so we can get all of you the information you need. Text Laverne City or whatever you want your keyword to be. Text this to this number. Once they text in, that's it. So now you can, whatever is going on, you can just blast it to them one time and everybody gets it at the same time.
What kind of cost?
Yeah, I was going to.
$60 a month, and it's not a contract.
And unlimited text?
You have options. You have one keyword and 1,000 messages a month for $60, or if you feel like you need more, it goes incrementally according to the information I left you. So if you feel like we need 2,000, 60,000 messages a month, it all goes up as you use. So it's really something like, okay, we have about, I'm not sure what the population of Laverne might be.
Around 33,000.
33,000. So with 33,000, and you have 60,000 messages in a month, that's about $500. And it's not a contract, so you're not locked in or anything. You try it one time and you feel like this is an efficient way, fine, you keep it. If it's not, you're not bound to any contract. Any more questions?
You said you had some,
Yeah, with the mayor.
with the mayor? Okay.
Yeah. But I do have one here that I could leave with you and,
We'll
Yeah.
share it.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll open that up, make copies.
Any questions?
Okay, any more questions?
I was going to ask the cost, but Tom did, so.
Excuse me?
He's already asked my
Okay.
question. The cost.
$500
Okay.
a month. If we send,
That's it.
Thank
That's
you
it.
very much.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, we'll go right on into the business. Alderman Green, you'll have the prayer, and Alderman Waldron will have the Pledge of Allegiance for this meeting. Please read over the minutes so we can have approval of those, and we'll go into our department reports. We also have some some wonderful certificates of appreciation this month, and we'll also have our Employee of the Month, and the police chief will have the Chief's Awards of Excellence as well. Old business, motion to approve bid for the warning system. Going to open the floor up now for some discussion on this matter. Anybody want to start? I'll start. I know a lot of the citizens think that we are rushing into this, that this is something that has been thrown together, that a lot of thought has not been put into this, and that is totally incorrect. We have spent years, not months, but years, on trying to find the systems, the right systems, putting the right system together. So this is not something we've been to different places. Alderman Green and I even visited with some people, I think, about 3 years ago at one of the conferences where they were discussing that they had this. We've entrusted our emergency board, which is comprised of not just one or two people, but of many emergency personnel from not only the fire, the police, we have the rescue, we have the county emergency personnel, we have all departments throughout the city that are involved with our local emergency planning committee that have devoted a great deal of time on investigating this. I am of the opinion, I think we've gone out, I think we've searched out, we've even had presentations here tonight. As you can see, just getting on a simple text is $500 a month. Well, what does that average out a year? And with all this being said, I don't think we need to piece it together. I think we either need to go for broke or all or nothing. But with that being said, I've also done a lot of research online and have found that there is a lot of grant money out there. But the grant money is not going to come to us we decide we want it, and the grant's gonna be written, and it's gonna be given to us in a week. And what I would like to see this board is considered is we stay with the company, what we've all been looking at. We get everything in the entire package. I mean, we get it all. And when we talk about it, it's not just a tornado. That these are being put up just for a tornado. Probably the police and the fire may get on to me for saying this, but I think it's something that needs to be said. We have got a major rail system running through this city. And I can remember back when I was 18, 20 years old, nobody thought in Waverly, Tennessee, that a train was going to come through and explode in that city. And, you always look back, what if, what if, what if. I had some friends that lost their lives that day. We also have major, major companies here with major explosive chemicals. We don't go out and tell all the runs that we make. We had a plume one night from Palm Industries that a lot of the residents didn't know, but we had the city surrounded, not only with our emergency personnel, but with Metro. We had roads shut down watching it, trying to figure out if the wind blew one way, we were going to have to evacuate an entire neighborhood. At that time, we didn't know what was causing that. So we've got major, major issues, not just weather. We have a lot of companies. We're an industrial area, folks, and we need to think about this. But I would like for us to consider, step back, breathe. Nobody says we have to put it in tomorrow, but I would like for us to step back, keep the whole system intact as it's been bid out, but give our grant writer time to look. And I think if we play our cards right, we write these grants right, I think we can come up with 50% or more of it being paid through grant money. And it would go through Homeland Security because of the things that I have just mentioned, not just weather. We're talking about major, major industry here that puts us in a different light when it comes to emergency situations. That's what I would like to see us do. That way, if we can get the grant money to pay for it, I too do not want to leave it in 3 years. If we're all not back up here, I don't want to leave the next group with bills. But if we can get 50% of it paid for, this group, we can pay for the rest within our time frame and do it very comfortably. And I think this wipe the sweat off of Phyllis's head there. We wouldn't be financing it as much, which it would go down because we would not be paying as much interest if we can get grant money for that. And the grant money is for 2011, and it's talking about these type of systems through Homeland Security. So I think I've preached enough now.
I can't support a partial system at all. I mean, I feel like we do it all or nothing because every citizen deserves it. If we can't provide safety to the citizens, we've got nothing.
My thoughts are, again, as I've said probably 6 months in a row, I'm not opposed to this system. It's a great system. It certainly has the benefits and everything you said with our industry, as the city's growing, it definitely is a benefit. My problem with is this. The grant money, it could be next month, it could be next year. It could never be. And to lock us into a contract right now, as you said, my whole thing is the way it was spelled out over a 10-year period. Again, it's a 10-year contract, regardless who sits up here, and to the citizens of Laverne. Certainly, under ideal times, there wouldn't be a question for my vote anyway. But given where we are right now with money, and again, as I said, it seemed like each month there was something new, and everything was justified what was new each month. And the point that I'm saying is, it's not. Is it a good system? Is it not? Did we put a lot of time? Nobody's disputing that. What I'm saying is, we all said we'd like to have something in by the next season. I know it would be difficult to kind of piece it in as Assistant Chief McCormick said, and I think Vice Mayor said last month, but, you know, again, at least you'd have something somewhere. To me, is it the best for our dollar, regardless of grant or not? And Mayor, I know that I've gone on as well, and I've seen other systems. Again, I'm no expert in the emergency side, but I do know that there are other ways to get information out. Look, just in 2 months, or in the last month, we've had 2 people come in and say, here's another way of trying to get information out. Is it the best option for us right now? And that's my biggest thing. If we vote yes for it right now, we're locked in. And we don't know, are we getting the grant? And that's been my whole, each month as it went along and kind of went up, is where I started kind of questioning a little bit.
And that's why I said, well, we don't know how long it'll take to get these grants written. Once they're written, of course, y'all know how it is about grants. We don't know. But the money is there. I mean, we have found tons of paperwork. How are we on trying to get that information together, getting it together, getting them in? Do we know, Monty?
We are still working on it. The ones that I found, they are not covering everything that we want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with these cities to find out that really fit our needs.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, these are going to take time to do, so.
Can I ask you a question here? I mean, again, if we leave this on there right now, without right now presenting options, meaning y'all just said it's y'all's opinion that you don't want to piece a system in. I respect that, but at the same time, it's kind of tough for me to vote yes on something that we don't even know if we're going to get a grant.
Well,
So what are our
I was
options
going to
here?
ask Tommy. On this, we cannot approve this bid with contingencies. I mean, if we approve it, that means we're telling McCord we're going to get it, to my understanding.
Right.
And I'm not ready to do that until I'm absolutely told, no, there is no grant money. I mean, we don't know. But I don't want to lock us into something and us not knowing. I want something on paper that's telling me there is no grant money. There's no free money out there for this system.
And then I'd like to know that we will get the grant money. So what are we going to do? I mean, you know, do we still leave it on? Or
I
do
don't
we
know how
keep-
long we can
How long
defer.
can we keep?
I don't know. That's a good question that I don't have the answer to.
With respect to how long it can stay on the agenda,
Mm-hmm.
off the top of my head, I can't tell you that. I don't know the answer off the top of my head. We could work on that before Tuesday, though.
Okay,
How long is the bid good for, Ricky?
so,
There you go.
Right.
The bids and the finance packages are expiring.
mm-hmm.
What did he say?
And have we gotten any sure thing on the financing of it?
The packages that you've been presented, the bid packets,
Mhm.
are expiring.
Okay.
So we have to go through the whole process back again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd rather go through the process again and know that we had grant money to help us, is to say yes, and then we just don't have the money right now to.
I mean, I would hate to knowing, after I've been on that site, seeing all this money that's out there, and because of where we sit, because of the railroad, because of all of our industry,
I understand that.
we fall really, really good into the Homeland Security end of it, and that's where it's not per weather, but you're falling more under the Homeland Security because of those things. So, you know, everybody think about what we've talked about. Look, maybe you can have some information showing them where you're looking as far as the grant money. If we can get some, I don't know, I'm not a grant person, I don't know how to write it. Do they give you a time frame? If you know, it may be a deadline, and then if you apply for this, they will let you know. It may be 6 months down the road before we let you know.
There's one of the things that you do need to look at, though, is if she's gonna do this, they're gonna want a number.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna wanna know what you want, and they're gonna need a number.
Yeah, they're big on statistics
Somewhere,
and,
somewhere down that realm there, somebody's gonna have to make a decision. Do you want this company or that company? Because if you don't, she's not gonna have numbers to apply for the grants to begin with. So somebody's gonna have to make a
we've got to
decision
do-
what you
yeah.
want. If not, she's just applying for a blind grant.
and
that's-
those you can forget, they're not.
You have to have something definitive to give to anybody that you're supplying.
Can I jump in here too?
Right.
Most of the 2011 grants have expired. I've been in contact with National Weather Service, and they have no knowledge of any grants that would apply this year in our case. And there's also a principle in granting called supplanting. It's where you can't apply for a grant to pay for half of a project or 30% of a project you already have in your budget. So if you want us to look for grants, which we have no knowledge of any existing right now that apply, we're going to have to kill it out of the budget
We can't do
and
that.
start over. And hope, and offer to pay for part of it and allow the grant to pay for the rest of it. But we can't leave it as is, as a budget item, and expect anybody to pay. They can't. So we cannot allow you to do that. So we're going to have to kill it and start over. But like Rick says, it would be great to know of the board's intention to go for a full or a partial system, to know how we can build the grant and to spec it out correctly.
Oh, I definitely think if we're going for it, go for the whole kit and caboodle, go for everything, if we're gonna go with the grant.
And it would be good for us to know the board's intention on that, while we still may have to vote the motion down, advise you to vote the motion down.
I think it's probably goes without saying that if a grant was available, which we're saying we don't know, it would probably be the board's intention, I'm assuming, if we got half or a portion of it, to go with the whole system.
I would.
But we don't know that. We vote on it Tuesday, we approve it, we're locked in for the whole.
And like I was saying, if we intend to go for a partial funding with help from someone else, as it sits now as a budget item, the
Take it.
grant is not going to be approved. We would have to kill it, take it out of the budget, and start over again. But we need to know if that's the way we need to proceed, is for the full up.
Okay.
When you say a partial project though, and again, I think if we had our ideal situation, we'd have the whole system in place. Rick, I spoke with you, what would be wrong with starting something, say, initially, I think when we talked about it, we all talked about it a few years back, it was going to start in the park. So what would be the process, and then from there, adding to? Let's say right now, we dropped this and went to.
The problem that the LEPC and myself have with a partial system, when this whole project started, it started as lightning detection in the park. Didn't start as a warning system, it didn't start as weather, it for surely did not start as a full warning system. It started as lightning detection in Veterans Memorial Park. It didn't start with all this other. Doing a lightning detection system in the park, I'd still say, hey, let's do it. Doing a partial system for one, as a citizen, not just an emergency service worker of 25 years for the city, but as a citizen, I do not think that it's a good thing for the council and definitely from our LEPC board to provide one small section of the city of Laverne with a service that the rest of the city is not getting.
And this is where you and we've had discussions about it, and this is where maybe, and again, I certainly not anywhere your expertise in the emergency field, but Parks and Rec comes up every month and talks about 68, 70,000, 75,000 people in the park, okay? And that's where they're going to hear these sirens, and that's where they're going to really need it. They're doing their event, ball, walking trail.
But in turn, we're having these same events at Laverne High School.
Absolutely.
We've got people going up and down I-24, people going up and down Murfreesboro Road. We have all the influx of our businesses and our workers in the buildings and in industry every day.
Certainly
we have all these same numbers that pop up just like our city park does.
Certainly not disagreeing with that, but there is an opt-in service. There are other things that can be provided. And again, to me, ideal times, this is a great system. But to me, I think you hit your priority area. And then my question to you is, then If you did it over a 2-year period, as the mayor said, well, we could pay for it ourselves, or maybe work out a grant or whatever, what would be, we did something in the park now with the opt-in system where people get their texting and so on to their computers, to their cell phones, to their home phones, whatever, and then down the road add to it as far as the residential areas. I know that's not something that you all are saying that you think is ideal. I'm just saying what would be wrong with doing something like that? What would be, how difficult would that be to add those systems in?
Are you asking me what would be wrong with that, or are you asking
well,
me can that be done?
Can I jump in for a minute?
What would be wrong is we're not providing every citizen of Laverne with the adequate same service.
And my problem
That's
with
what's wrong.
just doing it at the park is we're not providing it to the taxpayers. These are people coming from Brentwood, Franklin, other counties to ball games. Our citizens are not, I personally don't go to the park unless there's something the city's having. I don't spend any time at the park. So I would not technically be benefiting from that. And if you've got a siren there, part of Lake Forest is going to hear it. Nobody in Woodland Hills is going to benefit anything from that except for people who are coming to the parks for games.
But yet they're still going to be
They're
having
gonna be
burden
paying
of
for it.
taxation for that same service.
That's your people that are outside, though, is what I'm saying. And that's who we're.
And if
we're
you're
trying-
outside, you should see
Right.
the clouds.
But people that are in Woodland Hills, that are in Madison Square, that are in Lake Forest, also have phones, computers, so on, and they can opt in and get these texts, these emergency messages from us. I'm not saying that's ideal, Chris. I'm just saying, the way we have it right now, we're going to be pretty much contracting for the next 10 years for anyone that sits here, and monies that we really don't have right now. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a
And that's-
priority, but
That's the reason I feel like we either do a full system or no system. I can't go with just the one where people who technically don't even live here are benefiting from that siren, horn, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like a train coming through town. You're going to hear it. That's why they have horns on trains, to warn you. Somebody in Woodland Hills, McFarland Point, everywhere else, they need to be able to hear that. Because you've got so many elderly that don't have cell phones. They may not have cable. And if there is a tornado that hits Nashville, if you've ever been involved in a tornado, your cell phones aren't going to work. It takes down everything because everybody jumps on their cell phone. There's no cell phone use.
The
So
flooding- the
it's
flooding
kind of a
was-
backup to a backup.
And we've had situations that, within our city with our flooding, anyone that worked that flooding event can tell you your cell phone, you might as well just threw it in the water because it was useless.
And
There was power outages everywhere. If your
And that-
power is out, you don't have a computer.
And
Your
that's
cell
why we
phones were
don't use
useless.
radio or cell phones in emergency services. We have radios because they always work. If I had to rely on to get a hold of the fire department from cell phone during an emergency like that, it's not going to happen. So it's great as long as nothing happens coming towards us and everybody gets on their cell phone, even with the opt-in option. It's great, but you're not going to guarantee these cell phones are going to work. So you've still got your backup with your whole system to warn people.
And again, I'm not disputing what's ideal. I'm just saying right now what we have the money to do. And I also know the tornado that came through Laverne last March, I believe, there was a path and it was coming our way. And we knew about 25 minutes or so it was kind of Franklin and moving its way through towards Laverne. So there are times before the power's out, so on. Again, guys, I'm certainly not taking away from your expertise in the emergency field. I'm just saying, again, we're strapping this board, we're strapping the city with almost $600,000 over 10 years.
I think when we worked on the 5-year plan with our finance director and all of our department heads and the board, I think when we worked on that 5-year plan that we put $60,000 a year in for this entire project, it's 12 months in arrears. That 12 months in arrears is not till probably the last siren is installed. So you're looking at probably 4 to 6 months there. So you're looking at 18 months out of money that has already been budgeted for in our budget. This is not new money that we don't have. I think the other thing is, and the public needs to know this is less than half of a penny of that new taxation. So if we don't do this project and we scrapped it all together, I'm assuming that we're going to roll taxes back to 99.5 cents instead of $1. That's not going to happen. This board knows that you're not going to roll a half a cent back off the city tax. Me, for one, who works out in the field with these gentlemen over here, with this gentleman that sits on the board here, I'm just gonna go in and tell you. I have 4 kids that play ball in the parks that you've always supported and been there for. I live here at night, I sleep here at night, my family does. Providing this to one area of this city and not the whole city is not right. If we're gonna do it, we need to do it. If we're not, as Steve said, we're killing every grant that there may even be. And we looked, 3 years ago, we looked hard. In fact, I stood in front of the Christie Houston Foundation with the Parks Director, and we begged and pleaded to try to get that. And it was, we couldn't get it. So we've tried all of these avenues. You know, if this is a 4.5-year project at this point, and we're still standing up here. I'm still standing up here. Your LEPC committee of, how many did we have, Chief? 12 of the 18 that day? And not just city emergency workers that are telling this board, county EMA directors, county EMS supervisors. So we've given our recommendation, and just so that everyone in this room today knows, it was unanimous through our LEPC board, which is the people that come to your aid every single day here. Either all or nothing. Now, on the money side of it, if this had not been a budgeted item in a 5-year plan and it was not already going to be sitting there, then I'd say, you know what, you're right. But this has already been looked at. It's sitting there and it's ready to be done. So that was the reason that you got back the recommendation from LEPC, all or nothing. And if we're going to do this, let's do it. And if we're not, then let's just put it to bed.
As I've said for 2 months in a row, respect all the hard work that you put into it. Certainly respect our emergency services throughout the city. Your job, you do a great job of it, okay? They all do throughout the city. But my job, and this board's job, is to do the best for the city with the money that we have. And that's all my question is. If there is maybe $200,000 sitting out there a month from now, 6 months from now, wouldn't it be better to do it that way? You're saying the bid ends that within a month or so.
We're pushing, probably right now, we're pushing that these bids
Okay.
are going to end. And
My
we're going
thing
to go,
is-
and I will tell you, and you will be told if you call Federal Signal, if you call Wheeling, any of these that you call, they're going to tell you 12 months from now, you're going to be looking at 10 to 15% markup again. I've watched it for 4 years running. That's the reason that the price today versus 4 years ago, that was one of the changes that you were talking about. That was one of the changes, is that every year we put it off. Every year it goes up.
Even with that 10 to 15% though, if we got 200,000, if we got 250,000, it would be less that the taxpayer would have to pay. And that's all my concern is, are we getting the best deal we can? Are we being good stewards of the money? That's my only.
And I pay
Final
taxes
question.
here too, and I would
Yes, sir.
agree. If there's a penny that you can save for me, I'd love it. But at some point, we have to deal with this. We're either going to do it or we're not. I mean, how long are we going to tell Monteith? How long are we going to look for grants? We've been looking for 3 years now that I know of. Are we going to wait 3 more? Or are we going to wait till we have a Murfreesboro incident and someone's dead?
And I can't put a price on anybody's life. I mean, y'all know I'm for safety. If we can't protect our citizens in the city, we don't have nothing. I mean, and that's.
And if we are going to wait and we're going to pursue grants once again, because Monteith's great. She's great. Maybe she can find it. If we're going to do that, though, we need to go back and we need to amend our 5-year plan and get it pulled out of the budget so we have at least a partial chance of getting a grant. Because as it stands right now, as Steve said, nobody's going to give us a grant on something that we're showing we have money to do. So.
And in terms of price, the way I think about it for our 34,000 citizens, or almost, is that $60,000, divide that out. It's an all hazards warning system, not just tornadoes, but the hazmat like you talked about, and the trains and the Amber Alerts and the other problems that can come up to notify the citizens. You take that 60,000, divide among the citizens, it's less than $2 per year per person.
Well,
For
matter of fact,
a system that does not discriminate, does not require you to have a phone or electronics or be hooked up, you just have to be in the city. And we've got 100% plus coverage.
Martin, they put $2 onto their water bill every
That's
month
correct.
to pay for the system there.
And the cities around us that have these, MTSU, they added to their system this year. because they thought it was a big benefit to them, not only for weather warning, but for the warning of the students on campus.
I mean, we've got
City of Nashville
Bridgestone.
over here just added 2 more for the outdoor because of the lake area that was not covered by their current. I think that was
Number 74 and
number
75.
74 and number 75. So there are, we had people come up and try to say, well, these are not recommended by the Department of Homeland Security. Well, those were opinions that were sent back to the Department of Homeland Security. Those were not true statements from Homeland Security.
And we've got Bridgestone wanting to connect to the system. That's going to
Yeah,
add more to it.
Bridgestone's actually sitting waiting right now. Dana's here tonight. They're wanting to put the same system that we were going to put in place on their property for warning of their own people. So, as you said, we've looked at this for a long time, going on 5 years. And you know how I work. I will support anything that this council wants. I will go out and start helping Monteith look for the grants again, but if we're going to do it, I would just ask the council to let's go the proper routes and getting this pulled back completely back out of the 5-year plan in the budget so that we can show we don't have any money there for it. Because if we leave it in there, there's no good in us even applying for a grant.
Because of supplanting.
Any more comments? Questions? This is a major decision, so everybody do a lot of soul searching for this on Tuesday night. Any more comments? Comments? All right, number 5, second reading, ordinance 2011-28, an ordinance to amend the 2010-2011 fiscal year general fund budget. This is the second reading. This is our cleanup from when our auditors came in.
And Mayor, there is a public hearing on this Tuesday night.
Okay, will be a public hearing. Okay, any more questions and comments? Questions of Phyllis? Okay. Second reading, ordinance 2011-29, an ordinance to amend Title VII of the Laverne Municipal Code by adding fireworks regulations. This is the second reading on this as well. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns on the changed items in this? I do have a question, and I don't know who I would ask. Maybe Ricky? Because someone did ask me this question. I thought it was a good question. This does not interfere in any size, shape, form, or fashion with our businesses that are here now, currently here now.
Bruce might be able to answer that a little better. When we were working on this, when I was acting at the time, it did not.
I didn't think
and I
so.
think this is even more lenient than, but Bruce could probably answer that question better.
It's my understanding that this will not interfere with the permanent sellers that we have here in the city, because there is a permitting procedure that is available where residents can get permits. I believe it's up to twice a year that fall outside of the regular times that anybody can shoot fireworks. So I believe that it's not going to affect anybody. Of course, B&B over here, they're not open year-round at this point anyway, but as far as I know, this does not affect any of our current businesses.
And I have had a lot of calls back during the 4th of everybody wanting to know, starting in June, I think the middle of June, wanting to know if there's any, thing that they can do. The kids are shooting fireworks all night. Of course, the kids are out of school, and people still have to go to work. So, and I personally think the times on here are very reasonable.
They are.
So, do I have any more comments, questions? Okay. All right, let's go to our consent agenda items, which is number 7A. Approve a grant contract between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Laverne Police Department for the Alcohol Countermeasures Highway Safety Project. I thought there's the chief.
This grant is a grant that was applied for, I believe it was April, is when the application was submitted with the Governor's Highway Safety Office. It's 100% funding from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, better known as NHTSA, for alcohol countermeasures. It'll actually provide us about 1,250 plus hours of overtime, that's salary plus benefits, and it won't cost us anything in addition to this. It's simply for the overtime so we can provide more focus toward alcohol countermeasures, which will be a combination of not only saturation patrols, but it'll also provide the overtime to conduct sobriety checkpoints and things of that nature too.
That's great. Did we get this to Evan, to Evan?
It's the usual standard grant, usual contract. And Laverne's had those before, and I'm familiar with it. It's very, very vanilla, really.
Oh, Kendall Pool. I know Kendall.
Yeah, Kendall's a good guy.
Yeah. Any questions? And let's reiterate the fact it is 100%.
It is.
So we like those.
And it's salary and benefits, so there's no equipment and no hoops to jump through on our end with any of that either.
And no side effects after the grant contract.
That's correct. There's no stipulations after. We'll continue doing work after that, but that's the only thing.
Nice to have it paid for a while anyway.
That's right.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 7B, approve lease contract with the Rutherford County for the Sand Hill Road Convenience Center.
Yes, ma'am. I was in contact with County Mayor, Mr. Burgess, and we agreed that we would like to continue the Sand Hill Convenience Center, and talked to Mac Nolan, Public Works Director, and we're all in agreement. And you'll notice they recently repaved the road and have improved the property a little bit, trying to keep it a little bit cleaner. And we figured this would be a good way to extend that contract. And they're going to continue to provide all the services. I learned that Sand Hill is the second busiest in the system in the county. And they're agreeing to continue to provide the services, the manning, the support, the emptying, the provision of the dumpsters, and they will pay us a princely sum of $1 use of the land for a 10-year period.
We're gonna get rich, aren't we?
Do I have any questions, comments? All right.
And so what we're asking the board is authority to go ahead and achieve that contract. And then, of course, if you vote yes on that, then it'll have to be sent to Rutherford County, and they'll have to go through their planning board and then through the general council.
Okay. All righty. Any other questions, comments from anybody? Okay. Number 8, motion to appoint board members. We have one, which is the Planning Commission, Mr. Charles Parker, who is our vice chairman. His will expire October the 31st. To my understanding, Bruce has talked to Mr. Parker. He is a huge asset to this board, not only to this board, to this city. And I would hope, of course, this position is appointed by the mayor with confirmation from, by the board. Is not required, but you know, I always do like for us to work together on any of these decisions. And like I said, I think everyone on this board knows Mr. Parker, and I will be asking that y'all do back me and support me with the decision to keep Mr. Parker on that board. And while we're on this, I don't know if this is actually the appropriate time, but we do need to remember Mr. Parker's family. He did lose his brother this week. So he's been a huge asset to this city, so let's remember Mr. Parker. All right, number 9. This is the first reading, ordinance 2011-30, an ordinance to amend Title 3, Chapter 3 of the Laverne Municipal Code by adding a new section 3-311 relating to the employment of collection agencies to collect municipal fines and costs. Bruce, I believe this was yours?
Yes, ma'am. One thing we're needing to do is in order to hire a collection agency, we have to pass this ordinance and get it into our books, which basically authorizes the city to contract with a collection agency. Evan has reviewed this, and we've got everything in here according to what we can do by state law. Once this ordinance is approved, then we can contract with a collection agency to try and get those back debts that have not been paid to city court.
And we do have quite a few.
I don't have a dollar amount, but there is quite a bit, yes.
So,
A lot.
all right. Do we have any questions or comments on this one? Any questions on this? Okay. Number 10, Resolution 2011-26, a resolution of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Laverne, Tennessee, authorizing the insurance, sale, and payment of general fund tax anticipation notes not to exceed $1 million. Phyllis?
There's two changes to this resolution that Bruce and I wanted to run before the board. Recently found out that there's some wording that was missing in this ordinance, this resolution. It's basically one little sentence.
The new section 9, which is on the second page of this resolution.
According to some of the banking officials that I've spoken with, that this language will help us to get a better rate.
Okay.
That's all it's for. And also, since the state only approved us up to $1 million, we wanted to go ahead and make that change at this time. But I'm still keeping my fingers crossed we won't even have to apply for a TAN. But we need to get this in place just in case we do.
And that's another thing we was going to say. We're doing really well. Taxes are starting to come in. So all the departments has done a really good job kind of tightening that belt and hanging on. So I just want to commend everybody for that and tell them what a good job we're doing. And chances are we're not even going to touch this. So we want to get that out. We are not borrowing $1 million. This is just an assurance policy. Should something happen between now and the time of all taxes being collected, the money is there. It is to be paid back this year. So it's not going to be a loan hanging out there. If we do not have to touch it, this money will not be touched. It's more like, to me, I'm looking at it as like a personal line of credit is all this is. So do we have any questions, comments? Okay. All right. Number 11, motion to approve agreements to participate in the Town of Smyrna's Care Here Clinic. Mr. Gaston.
Mayor and Board, we've talked about this in past meetings, and we postponed it the last time because we wanted to wait to make sure that Smyrna would approve what's called the interlocal agreement, and they did. We have those documents. Basically, I wanted to remind the board that what this allows us to do is to participate with the clinic in Smyrna that will allow us, first of all, one of the things they're most famous for, and I failed to mention initially, is in their risk management, healthcare assessment. There are folks that have been able to find things and correct things before they become problems for them health-wise and dollar-wise for any plan, lower costs, lower pharmacy costs, convenience for the employees, no capital investment, plus the burden of trying to fund a clinic if we ever wanted one here. If you remember, we talked about an average cost to go to the doctor to see if I had cold or sinus infection, et cetera, maybe $200. Basically, it would be a cost of about $65 for that. So we just sort of delayed it to make sure that there weren't any other changes for this, I think, is another way, a great way to help reduce the overall healthcare dollars.
And I've talked around, I've got some pros, I've got some cons, but for the most part, with the people that have attended these type of clinics or with other jobs that they may have had, love the opportunity to do this. I did have some cons. On the same token, people said, you know, no, I'm not changing my doctor for anything. So, I mean, I've
Right.
kind of waited out, I've talked around,
And it's not.
I have seen on both sides.
Right. It's not intended to take the place of your primary care physician, but, for example, if I wanted to get in to see my doctor tomorrow, chances are I won't get in. If it's something minor, then I could get in, I could go online, et cetera. If there's an appointment available, go, be in and out within an hour. It's not designed for you to go and sit and wait. You get in, you get out.
You're in and out in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's good for high blood pressure, getting your med refills. You don't want to eliminate your family doctor by any chance.
Right.
But I have heard a lot of people say that the cost alone in the medications
It's great.
There's
was
some things that
phenomenal.
are standard, yeah.
Because, I mean, I've done a lot of asking questions
yeah.
about
Yeah.
this.
I have
was
too.
very concerned.
At
I
your
have a
care,
friend that uses it, and
and at
they
your
love it.
care clinics, they'll usually give you 3 months worth of medicine right there. They write your
And I
name
was
on the bottle,
skeptical.
it's yours.
I've never used it. I haven't worked for the county or places, but the research that I've done with friends that are teachers that in Rutherford County have said positive things about it. Again, it's not designed to take the place of your primary care physician, but I know of at least 3 examples or 4 examples here in the city since I've been here in the last few months where folks have had to reach out to Laverne Primary Care to that type of facility and do that. I don't know what the cost of that is. I know that the cost overall here is there, and the prescription is a big savings as well. We spend a lot of dollars in prescription dollars.
And we are just doing this for 1 year for right now.
We're not obligated to a contract because the contract belongs to them. Basically, they have space because Rutherford County was able to get the same deal with another provider because of the volume of Rutherford County. So generally, my estimates is that if we were to create a clinic, it would cost us $80,000 to $90,000 just to build a physical space. We don't have any of that, so there's not a contract for.
Okay.
We can get out of it within 60 days or something.
That's
Yeah.
what I want to make sure that,
Right.
you know, if we don't have the participation
Right.
that we're anticipating.
Right.
Because I've talked to some of the employees,
Right.
and they're like, yeah, I'll use it.
Well, it's
Right.
initially slow getting people to do
Right,
it.
'cause they're
But once they start
skittish,
doing
yeah.
it and using it, it will in turn lower our
Well, what we
insurance
would,
premiums. Because you healthier employees, insurance ain't gonna be as high.
and what we talked about doing is certainly marketing that. Certainly, if the board votes to continue, then we'll know this. One of the things that we've got set up, we would certainly do a push on that. We're going to do a benefits day on the 22nd as we anticipate open enrollment for benefits next year. So we'll talk about that during that time and how it could be helpful to the employees.
Good. Any more questions? Comments? Concerns?
Thanks.
Wow. We're down to mayor and alderman comments.
Wow.
Alderman Green,
I really don't have anything, I don't suppose.
okay. Vice Mayor?
Ask everybody to come out to the Trail of Treats Saturday and enjoy that.
And a football game.
Yep, the FOP football game that night. So, oh, the Gross Grub tomorrow. Alderman Roker.
Just want to thank everyone for all the time they put in with the Ricky Quinn benefit this weekend.
That was great.
Fabulous.
Thank Parks and Rec for all their hard work. Got a gentleman in the audience that's here every month, and just found out that he's going to have a second child. Is that what, or you're not, but your wife's going to have a second child. So, but congratulations to the Coles. Other than that,
That's awesome. That's great news. Great. We did have a wonderful time at the benefit for Ricky Quinn.
Oh, it was great.
Also Saturday night, we just mentioned the FOP football game with the Titans. Box 100 has been given the concessions for that night. All proceeds from the concession stand that night will be donated to the Quinn family. So come out, eat some good food, watch a good football game, and have some fun.
Watch the mayor get tackled.
Oh, that's right. Also, we'll be having a chili supper to benefit the Ricky Quinn family, which is November the 12th at Roy Waldron School. So we've got some good things showing how our community comes together. And again, like I said, we had a blast at the ball games. It was really a good day. And thank all the employees and all the teams that came out and supported a fellow firefighter. And it was very much appreciated. Also, unfortunately, this Monday morning, bright and early, was it Monday? Yeah, it was Monday morning. We had a devastating house fire to a family here, the Deason family on Park Court North. They lost everything in their fire. Our guys, gals were out there, did a great job in supporting this family. But during all this devastation, and even though that this family lost everything, I think everybody's seen the news. The family was saved by a crying baby doll, which is brought on by the school. The school has a program where they send these dolls home with the youth to teach them what a real baby will do and how they wake you up at all hours of the night. And the teacher actually sets these baby dolls to the different times, and had actually set this baby doll, I think, to about 3:30ish. And it was a coincidence. Woke the girl up, got the family out, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now this story has gone national, and they've been invited to New York to the Anderson Cooper show, and so it looks like it's going nationwide with this story, and hopefully this family not only has gotten help from our surrounding communities, but it looks like they're going to be getting help from the national. So that's to make such a devastating thing. It's turned into, I think, a positive thing for this family. Mm-hmm. So continue to keep this family in your prayers.
Also, First Tennessee Bank has set up a recovery fund. If anyone would like to make cash donations. You can make cash donations, and it's to any First Tennessee Bank in the area, I believe, or in the state, to my understanding. Well, there's a website, yeah. And also, we plan to invite them here on Tuesday. Yes, they will be here for everyone to meet on Tuesday. And I believe if we got anything else that's going on, Trail of Treats, CADCOR will be here. So if you have any outdated drugs or medications that you're no longer using, bring those in. You can turn them into CADCOR. They get rid of this medication for you. Will be set up out front. 10 to 2. 10 to 2. Then you'll go to the Trail of Treats and tend to the football game that night. So
be sure and go to the football game. You'll see the mayor get tackled.
Oh, I know. Is there anything else? Okay, I call this workshop adjourned.